Yeah, Brian, congrats on the win. You seemed a little frustrated with how you got there, though. Can you speak a little bit about some of your frustrations as well as what you liked out there?
Sure. So we sang Jingle Bells. We had a clean sheet, and nobody's going to care in September or October how or why we won the game. So that is a happy locker room. I'm a happy coach. There's happy assistant coaches. And I think the whole club should be pleased with the result. And it's a 6-point swing against someone that was ahead of us. It puts us in a great shape to end the week on a high. So I'm not frustrated at all.
Nico Moreno, go ahead.
Coach, congratulations on the win. It's always good to win when the team doesn't play up its potential.
Team played well. Team played well.
Did Houston do anything in particular that surprised you at all? And could you talk a little bit about Christian Roldan's second yellow and how that might affect you for the second game?
You're talking about Alex Roldan's second yellow?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let me start with complimenting Paulo Nagamura. He was a tremendous player in our league, and he had a long career, and then he cut his teeth in the Sporting Kansas City organization. And he has his team playing well. He kind of like his personality. So, teams sometimes take on the personality of their coach. So I was impressed with that. So part of our challenges tonight was just based on our opponent. Second of all, Alex has 2 yellows. I mean, it happens. I actually pulled Kellen off the field because I didn't know if the referee would call a late or challenge or something on Kellen. But, we kept Alex on there. Unfortunately, he got a second yellow, so we'll just make do. We have plenty of options there. I'm not concerned.
Next question, we'll go over to Jada Evans. Jada, go ahead.
Thank you. Brian, I wanted to get your opinion about the goal or what you saw. I mean, you guys have had a couple of good team goals this season, or good build-ups to goals. So I wanted to get your opinion on what you saw there and maybe how you can get more of that.
Thank you for that positive question, Jada. The goal might have been a little fortunate because it bounced all over before it went into the actual goal, but you are absolutely correct. The build-up was very, very good. I thought there were certainly moments in the first half that we were good. And, we do need to create more of those. But what I would say is that, the team's played a lot of games. That group, it's the second game back since the CCL. They were a little rusty the first game. What are our expectations? It's always easier to destroy things than it is to create beautiful goals in our sport. So, yes, I was very pleased. I was happy for Raul to score 2 games in a row. So a lot of positives on that particular play. And, we'll just keep trying to build our attacking movement so that, we can continue to move up in the standings.
Go over to Mickey Turner next. Mickey, please go ahead and ask your question.
Thanks, Alex. Hey, Coach, I wanted to get your opinion on Josh and Ethan coming in. And also, you guys did a pretty good job of closing out the game, keeping possession, winning some fouls, and just your thoughts on how you guys closed out.
Yeah, sticking with positive vibes here, I thought Josh did okay. Again, how he, his angles of approach, we'll show him again because he hasn't really played a ton of minutes this year. But look, he's a game kid. The kid has always put it in. I never complain about his effort, his work rate, all of that sort of stuff. So that's always a positive. And then look, Ethan has kind of revived his career a little bit. He came back from his loan spell. We threw him out there in the Open Cup. He had some positive moments in training. And so, he's earned a couple more looks, a couple more minutes. So credit to the kid for staying after it. And, it was unfortunate that he couldn't finish off that one play towards the end of the game. But, he'll get there with a little more experience. He'll get there.
Jeremiah, we'll go back to you.
Yeah, Brian, not to be negative, but you had a couple open spots on the roster that you left open. If you could just speak to the thinking behind that.
Sure. That's again just in the development aspect of our club. There's a game that Defiance has on the weekend, and bringing players here to sit on the bench versus having them a true 4-day build into the game on the weekend. We felt it was more important for some of those players to participate in a full week of training so that their performance on the weekend would be better. So when you talk about maybe the Danny Levis, Sam, Leo's still a little dinged up, but some of those guys that would normally be on the bench, we decided it was better because they're going to play minutes for Defiance.
Jada, we'll go back to you.
Thanks. Brian, I wanted to ask your opinion about the historic day for U.S. soccer, the national team, the equal pay and whatnot. I wanted to see if you had a chance to know about that and if you had any opinion about it.
I haven't looked that deep into it, Jada. Thank you for the question. I'm happy that the women get equal rights. And, I'm a big proponent of women's rights in general in this country. They're very important people. My mother, my wife, my daughter, my granddaughter. I love them all very much. But I will give you a more nuanced and probably educated answer, Jada, if you ask me next week. But happy that deal got finally done and put to bed. And congratulations to, both the men's and women's program for, again, doing the right thing and, making sure that our World Cup teams are rewarded. The players that earn those chances, they're getting rewarded.
Nico, I see you raise your hand. Go ahead and ask your follow-up.
Brian, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about, Nicolas Darrow had dealt with some injuries this year. He's really came on. He's been so productive and, battling 90 minutes every ball. Can you talk a little bit about him and, his current moment right now?
Sure. He's a great captain, leader of the team. Played well tonight. There were just some passes that maybe, when he was a little cleaner, a little sharper, maybe he makes those final passes, but that's always been one of his specialties. I think his set piece delivery is good. I think his thinking of the game was good. When we brought him back into the middle of the field towards the end of the game, I think sometimes when he plays there in that position, he's a little bit more calmate. He's a little bit more, possession oriented. When he's higher up the field, he always wants to, make the assist and make sure that we score goals. So he's a versatile, talented. We're very happy to have him captain of the team.
Thanks,
okay,
Coach.
Time for one or two more. Jada, go ahead.
And I just wanted to ask about the lineup. Just midweek, sometimes you do have changes, but it seems like, you guys in the pursuit or the need to get points might be a reason why you started the best, even though you played on Sunday, or is there any more reasoning behind that?
No, I'll expand on that a little bit, Jada. Again, that's an astute question. So that group of players actually earned the right to play. Yeah, normally a player like Jordan Morris would be held out of a midweek because, he's a sprinter or whatever. But we looked at his numbers. He has earned a chance to start in a multiple game week. We're building his resilience, and he's just one example. So we will need everybody, and maybe the game against Colorado has a few changes in it based on 2 tough games, and you work on the third one. But I just felt for that group to kind of kick the rust off, they needed to go back out there again and show what they could do. And that was the reason for, keeping basically the starting lineup, except obviously Obed had to come out because of the yellow card accumulation.
Jeremiah, you're the last one I see. Why don't you take us home?
Yeah, you mentioned Obed. Obviously, this was another game where you get to see a different pairing in the defensive midfield. What did you make of Albert and Kellen?
Good. I mean, look, I know Kellen gets some grief on your station and social media channels. Kellen's been great for us. He's such a coach's dream because he can fit here, he can fit here, he fits here, he fits up here. So, he did what he had to do. He's steady, which is another trait that I like. Too many highs and lows is never good for a coach. So Kellen gives you all, he gives you his all, and he did fine. And then, we'll still rotate a little bit. Josh has earned a look. Danny Leva's still there in the conversation. So we'll keep working on that to make sure that we get it right. Because look, we're going to need everybody during the course of this MLS season.